Use the exact scarring on her face does too much.
Am I gonna get banned?
Welcome to Incredible, where we discover the weird and wonderful in this world. CD Projekt's new first-person game CyberPunk 2077 is finally here after first being announced all the way back in 2012. But despite much anticipation, the game's reported abundance of bugs has gamers wondering whether 2077 refers to the year in which the game is set or how many bugs have been found in it so far. Join us now as Incredible looks at the funniest bugs and glitches you'll find in CyberPunk 2077. Number 1. CyberJUNK Part 1. The game is rated mature and with a number of reasons, including the player's ability to customize their character's private parts. For players who feel their character customization just isn't complete without manufacturing a massive meat cannon, CyberPunk is designed for you.
Use the exact scarring on her face does too much.
Am I gonna get banned?
Unfortunately, whether due to a glitch or a snarky developer, players who opt for going larger than life will sometimes find their junk hanging out of their pants. Like, all the time. Unlike some fighting games where players can fight with additional limbs, no one has reported on any combat bonuses for a flailing phallus. Now, not to be outdone by the men, the females in the game also have a similar problem, as those who select jumbo jugs have their sweater stretchers do more than stretch, but actually burst through their clothing. These glitches aren't ideal if you're playing with grandma next to you. Number 2. Tree troubles. Do you like trees? Well, if so, CyberPunk may be the game for you, as players report tiny trees showing up everywhere and anywhere. Now, the game is set in the futuristic Night City, a megacity with colorful landscapes, but ones where the player will constantly run into small trees, whether they're hanging on the side of buildings, poised over an elevator, or scattered on a rug.
You just want to go to GeForce Experience and simply just update your drivers. I didn't know there was a CyberPunk game-ready driver or whatever. I usually don't even update drivers. If you're one of those people, you're probably the one watching my video looking for the fix.
3. Crashing cars. Cars are a big part of Night City, but apparently the dystopian future has people looking to end it all by crashing into barriers. At least that's the feeling players get when they see car after car plowing into protective barrier in one part of town, somehow blaming the player for their motoring misfortune.
Oye, despacio! Got a problem?
This seemingly harmless glitch takes a more sinister turn, no pun intended, as we'll see next. Number 4. Where's that wall come from? Glitches like cars repeatedly ramming into walls can be amusing, but when they happen to the player, that's another story. One player tweeted an area of Night City where they drive down the street only for their ride to ram into a wall and flip over. Number 5. Impaired interactions. Games like Grand Theft Auto have taken the concept of an immersive world to new levels, but despite its futuristic setting, CyberPunk 2077 takes gaming back a generation. An example how the game's NPC characters are almost as incompetent as the game's designers. A minor point, well, not for the people who have grown up playing games where AI reacts in an often lifelike manner. Number 6. Freaky physics. Gamers know that video games can take years to develop, but when CD Projekt announced CyberPunk 2077 in 2012, players weren't expecting freaky physics that would be accepted in 2012, let alone 2020. Number 7. The Monster Motorcyclist. Now, players are used to their opponents pulling some slick moves, but how about a motorcyclist who jumps atop your car, then dives onto the road and starts racing down the street while you pump lead into them with no apparent effect? One gamer posted a video of this, and yet it's another instance of in-game insanity.
Hold on!
Does the motorcyclist have a backup invisible hoverboard along with an invisible force field? Well, we'll let the gaming community try and answer this one. Number 8. The Immortal Van Driver. one of the more enjoyable parts about most video games is the ability to start over, even if your player has been killed. However, CyberPunk has graciously extended this benefit to its NPCs. One player found this out in a scene where they shoot the driver of a van and watch as a seemingly dead driver flies out of the vehicle. Nearly instantly, a second driver appears behind the wheel, forcing the player to shoot him again, and this time take out the immortal van driver. Number 9. Visual Nightmare. Reports are coming in that CyberPunk is a visual nightmare for players running it on PS4 and Xbox Series S. Referencing a report from the news site Digital Foundry, Polygon.com notes the resolution on PS4 stays around 720p but can range up to 900p, with the game looking glitchy and blurry, and compares Cyberpunk 2077 on PlayStation 4 to a Nintendo Switch port, specifically with some of the problems The Witcher 3 had on that console. Number 10. Unlicensed Music Nightmare. Gamers enjoy streaming their gameplay on sites like YouTube, with some even making money from their streams. However, a major mistake from CD Projekt could see streamers catching a copyright violation due to the game apparently containing unlicensed music. As streamers know, if a channel gets too many copyright violations, it can be shut down. Cyberpunk 2077 warned streamers via a tweet that, "We just noticed there's a song in the game which might put a DMCA strike on your channel even when playing with disable copyrighted music option on. While we're working on fixing it, please make sure to turn the sound off during the first 2 brain dance sequences. Apologies." We're sure many streamers weren't too happy with this, as most of them started streaming this before the announcement went out. Number 11. Unplayable on any platform. Gamers know that some games perform much better on more advanced platforms, but when a game is released for a console, it should run adequately on it. Gamers know there have traditionally been advantages to playing video games on PCs as opposed to consoles, but console players accept their games to function as promised. That hasn't been the situation here, and gamers are furious, even after the release of a patch. Even gamers who have a massively good PC have reported problems with the game, further evidence that the game was rushed out. And number 12, not only cringeworthy, but meme-worthy. As Cyberpunk 2077 quickly became one of the most maligned new releases in recent memory. As such, gamers have quickly released memes comparing the game's many flaws to duds from earlier consoles such as the PlayStation, PlayStation 2 and Nintendo 64 with the following message. This is Cyberpunk 2077, PS4 version 1.0. Resolution is literally below 720p and the game takes 20 seconds to load in textures. Inexcusable, unfathomable, unplayable. The gaming community has to wonder how much longer it will take before the memes become hashtags, with consumers calling for refunds and or major patches. Have you guys experienced any of these funny glitches? And probably not so funny glitches? Let us know in the comments down below, and we'll see you next time with some more incredible videos.